time to duel. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Game Moose episode 108. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Turford, alongside the champion of Duelist Kingdom, Brock McLaughlin.
Hot agreed, baby. I assume we're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
We're always rocking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Nice.
And, of course, the runner-up in Battle City, Drew McMillan.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Now, it's only because you lost the third Egyptian god card when you lost to Yu-Gi-Oh! In the semifinals. Thus allowing him to beat Merrick in the finals.
All right, am I doing this on a motorcycle? How does this work?
No, this is just normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Before it went all crazy.
Before it went all crazy?
Before it went all crazy. You know, this is when they were fighting like a weird Leviathan creature from like a revived Atlantis. Well, then also like traveling back to ancient Egypt. And yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a weird series.
That show is weird as fuck, man.
Did they put out a PSA to say like don't play cards and drive a motorcycle at the same time?
They should have.
They should have. I guess if it was popular, people watched it, they would have had to.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people will watch anything, Brock, let alone card games.
I know, because they're watching this video right here.
I mean, just us talking about that. So, of course, on today's show, we're not going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! We're going to talk about narrative versus gameplay. We're going to have a fun discussion about that. We're also going to talk about the Duke. It's coming back, guys. I'm very excited about this.
Well, who isn't?
And, of course, Detective Pikachu is on the scene. We're going to give you all the details about that. But first, before we jump into the first topic, Drew.
Yes?
You were on a very exciting show this week.
Yeah, I was. This week, I appeared on the We the Gamercast.
Yep.
With our friend Sean Capri.
Yep.
And that was a lot of fun.
You had a lot of fun conversations about different things, including PUBG being a hide-and-seek video game.
We talked about PUBG. We talked about just the video games in general, playing video games when we were a kid. Remember the good old days where you used to ride your bike to the video game rental store and get your... try to get everything off the rack there.
I don't think I ever did that once.
You didn't do that?
I didn't do that. I had to get a ride to the video game store.
I walked to the video game store, Drew.
Right.
I rode my bike to my friend's house to play video games.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you guys did the thing where like it's like you went through like every single game. That was my... I don't know. I assume that's what everybody did.
See, I didn't do that because I moved around a lot, and
Right.
I lived in larger cities, right? So that didn't happen.
I lived in the same suburb for like 15 years. So.
I've got a really good story about Genghis Khan 2 on the NES.
Ooh.
That was the only game at the rental store. So I'll tell that at a later date, but it's a funny story. So let's jump into the news this week. And by the news, I mean topic one. There was a mini direct this week, guys, from Nintendo. People, the internet fucking melted down over no Nintendo Direct announcement. And then Nintendo totally just trolled people, and it was totally amazing. So there was a mini direct. It sort of just came up at 6 a.m. on the 11th, the same day that everyone, basically all the rumors said it would come up. It wasn't a full direct, so it ran about 15 minutes, but we got a bunch of really cool announcements. So, number one, Fee, which is the EA or not Origins. I don't remember the name of the service. It's
EA Access?
No, it's their EA Originals. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's like one of their independent games.
Sure.
It's coming to Switch on February 16th. It wasn't announced for the console, and we didn't have a release date for it, so now we actually do for all platforms, which is kind of cool. It's like a cool, almost like Banjo-Kazooie kind of game. It looks pretty cool. Celeste was announced for Switch. It's coming on January 25th. It's the new game from the people who made Towerfall Ascension. But this time it's a single-player 2D platforming game. It looks really cool.
Is it good?
I don't know. We'll see. It's not out yet.
Okay.
This is when it again.
There's no like early access. Wait. This didn't come to the Ouya first?
No, surprisingly not. It wasn't an Ouya exclusive.
Towerfall was an Ouya exclusive.
What's an Ouya?
You don't know what the Ouya is?
Motherfucker, what? Oh, man.
The Ouya was an Android-based console that was kickstarted through Kickstarter. People loved for no reason.
It was one of the biggest Kickstarters at the time, 8 years ago, and everyone's like, "Yeah, this is going to be the thing. It's like this cool Android box, and like you can play any game from the App Store on your TV, and it'll be great." And guess what? It crashed and burned real hard.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
I remember like they did a thing where like at E3 they did a press conference and like had like a whole thing in the parking lot across the street from E3, and they're like, "Because we're different." The reality was because they had no money.
The real reason they did that, Drew, was because they wanted to follow in Gamecock's footsteps by doing the same thing. Do you remember Gamecock?
Oh, of who doesn't remember?
They were a game publisher where their mascot was a chicken.
Yes.
Hence the name Gamecock. And
Wow,
literally,
that is so edgy.
that's what they did. They would go around and try and show up all the developers, show they were different by being in the parking lot at E3 instead of actually being at E3.
Cool.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So good job, Ouya. You fucked up.
Right. So next up, we knew that Payday 2 was coming to Switch eventually, but it got a release date of February 27th.
Here's your reminder. Every time Payday comes up on the show, I say, do not fucking buy Payday 2. It is a horrible game.
I knew that was coming. So I was just going to let you have your moment. Next up, Ys 8, La Cromza of Dana is coming to Switch. It came to PS4 and Vita last year. It's a really good JRPG, but it sort of got lost in the shuffle because there were a lot of really good JRPGs last year.
That might be one of the worst named JRPGs I've ever heard.
Well, it's Ys 8.
Oh, I thought you said yeast.
There's ease. It's literally the letter Y.
Right.
Or I could just say it in a comedic fashion by saying wise.
Okay.
I like as a kid, that was what a lot of us I think probably said because we had no idea that you were supposed to say ease.
I thought it was 7.
It's a letter Y.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which I understand is probably pretty confusing.
Yeah. I'm just a pretty face.
It's coming out this summer. Again, it's one of those games I wanted to play last year, but it's just between Persona and Tales and a lot of other good JRPGs. Again, it sort of got lost, but this might be a good time to go back to it. Next up, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition was announced for Switch. It'll have all the DLC content as well as the content that was exclusive to the 3DS version, and it'll come out sometime this spring. It's the Wii U port that I was not expecting at all. Like, I was expecting Wii U ports, but this was the one where I was like, okay, after Fire Emblem Warriors a couple months ago, like, I didn't expect there to be another Warriors game, let alone a port of this game.
Well, you got to get a definitive edition of it, though, right?
But the 3DS version was supposed to be the definitive edition.
There's definitely an audience for this game because people love this game.
People like Musos in general, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like Fire Emblem Warriors. I liked what the elements of Fire Emblem they brought into it, but I've never played Hyrule Warriors, so maybe I should actually play
Hyrule Warriors is nothing to me.
Yeah.
Not my game.
This next game you're going to be excited about, Brock. SNK Heroines was announced. It's a 2D fighting game featuring all the girls from the SNK franchise.
Does it seem appropriate to be titling a game that in the era of the opiate crisis? Like, come on, guys. Maybe. That's a little tone deaf, I think.
But this is a spiritual successor to a previous SNK game, SNK Gals Fighters, which is a Neo Geo Pocket game.
Let's see, that's a better name. I want everybody to just get on Twitter right now and just, at the good folks at SNK and just say, hey, you use the hashtag heroin's not cool,
Get hyped.
Very catchy hashtag.
Yeah, heroin's not cool.
The game itself, it looks okay. Again, I don't like SNK style fighting games, so I know there's a big audience for SNK games. So they'll probably like it. It comes to Switch in the summer. Next up, Donkey Kong is coming to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle as part of its season pass. It'll launch sometime this spring as part of that deal. There's going to be like a new story as well as new missions and a whole bunch of different
It's also got a funky mode.
That's Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but thanks for spoiling.
What are you talking about?
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Wow. Oh, I just heard Donkey Kong.
Oh.
But I kind of want to play more Mario Rabbids with Donkey Kong now.
Yeah. I'm excited to play the new missions and stuff. Like, that sounds pretty cool.
And is that part of the paid DLC?
It is. It's part of the season pass. So it's like the first of 2 packs that are coming for it. So yeah, sometime in the spring. We don't really know when. Speaking of season passes, segue, Pokken Tournament DX got a new season pass as well with new fighters, support Pokemon, and avatar items. So Wave 1 is coming out on January 31st with Aegis Slash. Aegis Slash is the Sword and Shield Pokemon. And then Wave 2 on March 23rd is going to have Blastoise.
Finally!
Get hyped.
I kind of want to play the game just for Blastoise now. It's been a long time.
They showed Blastoise in action a little bit, and he looks pretty cool. So
is there a Venusaur? What's going on?
No one likes Venusaur.
Why not?
Fuck Bulbasaur.
I like Bulbasaur. Don't get me wrong. Squirtle's my boy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tight with Squirtle.
Squirtle.
You're part of the Squirtle squad.
Because I love turtles and I love squirting. So Squirtle, 100%.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, we're gonna make things awkward, Drew.
Hey.
Yeah. We're totally off the rails now, you guys. That was quick. All right. Well,
find me on Pornhub.
I'm going to get you back on the rails, Drew, because we have to talk about a game that Brock's never played or never heard of. The World Ends With You Final Remix was announced. It's coming to Switch sometime this year and will include exclusive content to this version, including a new story chapter. The World Ends With You is fucking awesome.
Ryan, you've talked for like 15 minutes about this fucking direct. Thank you for finally mentioning something I give a fuck about.
Yeah. You're welcome. I'm glad I can help.
This is more a criticism of Nintendo, but The World Ends With You is one of the best DS games ever. It's probably one of the best mobile games that's ever been on a Nintendo platform.
Yeah.
Period. It is one of the best JRPGs. Like, I put it up there with like Persona 4. Like, it is so fucking good.
Yeah. So it's an action RPG. It's made by the same team that made Kingdom Hearts. It was supposed to be
sold.
It was like supposed to be their big IP after Kingdom Hearts 2, essentially. But like, which is why Kingdom Hearts 3 is.
Isn't one of the characters in Kingdom Hearts?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought that character into Kingdom Hearts after this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So The World Ends With You, fantastic. If you've never played it, you should play it definitely on Switch later this year.
Yeah, it's interesting because The World Ends With You is a really great game, and Kingdom Hearts is not.
Yeah.
So
As
how did that
found
happen?
out this week?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll just keep it short, but I tried to play Kingdom Hearts again this week. I couldn't do it. It was fucking painful. Like, painful. I'm in the Tarzan level, and it's so boring and repetitive because there's like 3 like places you can go, and it's just awful.
Yeah.
It looks bad. The controls are bad.
And you're playing like the PS4 version, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not fun.
It's tough to go back to.
It really is.
Yeah.
Next up, speaking of tough games, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is coming to Switch. It'll launch on May 4th, featuring a funky mode that allows you to play as Funky Kong and never die, essentially.
It looks too
spikes.
easy. I don't remember this Donkey Kong being that hard either.
It was hard for a lot of people, but not us.
Well, it plays a lot like the Super Nintendo Donkey Kongs.
Well, that was the point.
And like, if you can master those, like, you should have no problem with this one.
It's the easier of the two retro games because they also did Donkey Kong Country Returns, and that game is fucking brutal. It is so hard. But this game, Tropical Freeze, was much more manageable, so I don't know why. I guess they added this mode to make it even easier just so people can get into it.
There was a lot of people complaining, and it's definitely aimed at children, and children probably can't master this game.
Well, I was a much better player at these types of games when I was a kid,
And
which is funny to say.
Funky mode looks a little too easy, though. Like, it looks a little ridiculous.
Well, again, it's like that mode in New Super Mario Brothers where like you die 5 times so you get the invincibility,
Right.
essentially.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that.
But that's a great game, and you should buy it because it is awesome.
Yeah, it's the Wii U game I was hoping to see, like that and Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei. I was hoping for that too, but
The music, so good.
yeah, Retro definitely like knocked it out of the park with
Yeah.
this one. So check that out on May 4th. Kirby Star Allies, that's the Kirby game we saw a long time ago. Yeah, finally has a release date. It's coming to Switch on March 16th.
They're not really hyping this one up very much.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I mean, they'll probably hype it more closer to it. It's just it didn't have its own direct or anything like that, and maybe that's why we're not seeing
Kirby's
it.
got some
'Cause
weird
this
new
is the
moves. He's
third-
got a spider web.
This is the third direct in a row we've seen a trailer for this
Yeah.
game. So, I mean, I think that that's as much hype as we're going.
I'm still on the fence because we'll see.
Kirby games are always super easy, but usually end up being fun. So I'm actually excited.
What was the one on the Wii U? It was not very good. It was not fun at all.
I'm blanking on
Epic
it.
Yarn?
No, Epic Yarn was on the Wii.
Yeah.
That was the last really good Kirby game. But
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about on Wii U.
Not Sticker Star.
No.
There's so fucking many of them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It had some other like material theme. It wasn't yarn. It was something like
It was like Play-Doh or something.
Oh yes, I know which one you're talking about. But I'm blanking.
It wasn't
on
very good.
Yeah, listeners at home, of course,
know.
feel free to correct us in the comments of this video.
like Kirby's Dirty Denim. I don't know.
Because it was part of Kirby's 25th anniversary. 'Cause
Yeah.
they also released that Kirby collection
Yeah.
at the same time as well on Wii U.
Kirby stained sheets.
Yeah.
Gross.
Next up, something
Fun
to catch.
fact: Kirby's a squirter like Drew.
Yeah. I'm not a squirter.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, all men really are. But
All right, Super Mario Odyssey. That's a game you like, Drew. I brought you back in.
yes.
Super Mario Odyssey is getting a free update that includes a new balloon hide and seek mode featuring Luigi. It also contains new costumes, including Dark Souls Mario, as well as many others, as well as new filters for photo mode. It comes out sometime in February, and it's free for everyone who owns Mario Odyssey.
Now, I thought there was a report that there might be an extra level now.
They didn't say in the
area?
direct that there was, or in the press release they didn't mention it.
Well, that'd be great.
It's more like an online hide and seek mode where like I can hide something and then I can tell Brock, hey Brock, go find this.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun to me.
Yeah. I mean, the new costumes and stuff are cool, but yeah.
I'm looking this up here.
Yeah. I don't think there's a new level. As far as I know, there isn't. There is, again, it didn't say it in any of the press materials, so I don't know. Next up, though, something I am really excited about, a new game announcement. Mario Tennis Aces is coming out. So it's actually developed by Camelot as well.
Yeah.
Makers of Mario Golf, but more so by some of my favorite RPG series, including Shining Force and Golden Sun. This time around, it's going to have its own story mode. It's not going to be an RPG, though, which kind of bums me out, but it's the first time Mario Tennis game has had a story mode since the GBA Mario Tennis game.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
There's an important thing to mention here.
Yeah.
Wario and Waluigi's hair.
Yeah.
It's on point.
Yeah.
Because they wear like the hot visors, and you can see their hair very well coiffed.
The crazy thing about Mario Tennis, when you think about it, is that was the first appearance of Waluigi.
Yes.
That's where he came from.
Yeah.
Was because of Mario Tennis. So this game is going to come out on Switch in spring, which is awesome because we're just hearing about it now, and it's out probably in a few months.
I am still sad that there's no RPG elements.
Right. Or maybe there will be RPG moments. We haven't seen anything from the story though, so we don't know.
Yeah, that video of him fighting the big piranha plant.
We saw that, but we haven't seen like any of the menus or what you're
No.
doing in between tennis matches and stuff. Like maybe there's some RPG elements like exploring like a tennis court.
I was hoping it's going to be Golf Story, so now I'm just asking the developers of Golf Story to make Tennis Story.
I also really wish that this was just Mario Golf instead.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had Mario Golf in so long.
I would love Mario
The 3DS
Golf.
game was the last one. And last but not least, they announced Dark Souls Remastered. It's got improved visuals as well as the original game's DLC. It'll launch both on Switch as well as other platforms on May 25th. Fun fact about Dark Souls Remastered is it's going to run at 30 frames per second on Switch, but 60 frames per second on everything else, which in a game like Dark Souls actually kind of matters. So
Yeah.
As much as the portability is a draw, I don't know how well this is going to play portably, but I'm excited to see the portable version when it comes out, for sure. Because again, like you're probably not going to play this on a plane, like in a brightly lit room, because it's going to be hard to see things.
I'm just like, that game makes you want to throw your controller. So if you're playing in handheld mode, there's a high chance you're going to break that controller. You're going to break your Switch.
You're just you can chuck that thing like a boomerang.
If only
You
it
can.
came back.
Only. Just
Yeah.
like my father.
It'll be
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Yeah.
I'm laughing to hide the tears.
There's a real roller coaster to this
It
episode.
is.
I
Ups
can
and
tell,
downs.
yeah.
Yeah, it's happy, it's sad, it's dark, it's sexy.
Well, I mean,
It's kind of the lead up to the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
anytime you talk about Dark Souls, you have to talk about dark
yeah,
things.
Yeah. I mean, this is exciting because Dark Souls is a fun game, and
Yeah.
being able to play that like wherever, whenever is good.
It's also worth noting that it's being remastered for all systems.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in fact, the current gen ones, like on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, are going to run at 60 frames per second in 4K, which is kind of ridiculous.
The collector's box looks so nice.
Yeah. Like there's a really cool collector's edition for this game, and yeah, it looks really awesome. So,
Sure.
I mean, I'm excited to give Dark Souls a second chance because the problem I've always had with Dark Souls is not that it's hard, it's that it's slow. Like I don't like the pacing of Dark Souls; it's too slow for me. That's why I've always preferred stuff like Ninja Gaiden and Neo, as opposed to these games. But I'm willing to give it another shot.
Though I found 3 was a lot snappier than 2.
Yeah.
Like a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's why I think like going back to Dark Souls 1 is going to be tough for me because of how much slower than even in comparison to newer Dark Souls games.
And how much they've added for like features and stuff that just aren't there in the first one.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. That was our Nintendo Mini Direct. A lot of people are saying, so where's the real Direct? And the answer is probably not anytime soon. There will probably be
Yeah.
another Direct before E3, but it might just be like a Fire Emblem Direct or something like that, like one about a specific game announcement that they have.
And we get that Treehouse shit.
Because we know that Fire Emblem is supposed to come out this year. So like there'll probably be one, or there might be something about Animal Crossing or something else.
We didn't see anything about the Yoshi game.
Nope, we didn't see that either. Or any of the previously announced games or 3DS games. They didn't show 3DS games during this Direct, which is good because I don't want them to talk about 3DS games at Directs unless they have their own Direct or something like that.
How about that Metroid game?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Metroid Prime 4.
Other than a logo, we got nothing.
At least we got a logo, because the Pokemon Switch game, all we got is a video of a dude sitting behind a desk in an office saying, "Yeah, we're working on it." so at least we have, at least for us Metroid fans, we at least have something.
Yeah, there was like the Smash Brothers announcement, like it was like 3 years ago or whatever for the Wii U. They're like, oh, right. Also Smash Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
And then after the press conference, they were like, oh yeah, so I guess we're doing that.
Exactly. Like it's just they do this sometimes. Because at least Metroid Prime 4, we at least know what that's called. Pokemon, who the fuck knows what that's called? Or Fire Emblem.
I'm so surprised they didn't announce Super Smash.
Yeah.
I thought that would be first quarter.
I thought that out of all the Wii U ports, that would even be the most likely one, because Sakurai already said that was his last Smash Brothers game, was the Wii U version, and that he wouldn't be continuing with the series.
You know why? Because he got ambushed at a press conference and didn't know he was working on the game.
But there's that, but he's also been working on Smash Brothers forever, and like he wanted to do something else, and that led to a lot of speculation as to would Smash on Wii U even be the last, basically Smash Brothers for a very long time, because without Sakurai, it might be. They would have to bring in new leadership, and it might be tougher to.
The answer is
develop.
probably no. There will be more Smash Bros.
There will be more Smash Brothers, but it probably will be a while. Like I don't expect a new Smash Brothers until like near the end of the Switch's life.
Mm-hmm. And do we really need another one if they port over the Wii U one? Probably not.
Probably not.
That's a pretty solid one.
Because that between that and Brawl, those are the two best ones. Mm-hmm. Or Melee was I meant Melee, not
Melee.
Brawl. Because Brawl had tripping, and I realized I was confused. But yeah, overall, I think it was a strong direct. Again, people had really like outlandish expectations of what they were expecting this to be. Again, people were just throwing around like all kinds of crazy theories about this. But in the end, I think we got sort of what I was kind of expecting we would get from this direct. And there were a lot of different announcements, and they had something for everyone, which is kind of nice. So even though, Drew, you weren't excited about some stuff, there was like some really good things. I mean, The World Ends With You coming to the console in general is amazing.
The fact that they haven't forgotten about that game is really nice.
Yeah. Because, I mean, maybe this might mean, by them doing this, there might be a World Ends With You 2 eventually.
I hope on like a dedicated Switch game.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Exactly. Cool. So.
I want to ask you guys a question, though.
Sure.
So now that we have an idea, we have vaguely idea of what Nintendo's year is kind of starting to look like.
Just the first half,
at least. What are you guys excited about for the Switch? Like, what's the next big thing? And like, is there a Nintendo franchise that's not on the Switch now that you're like, like this? We really need a next whatever game.
Okay.
Because like I found myself sitting here going like, what am I really excited about? Like now that like Mario's out, now that Breath of the Wild's out.
Yeah.
Right, those are the two big ones.
Those are tough to follow up.
Yeah.
Because, Nintendo's really got its hands full. Because we also got Splatoon as well. So, like, I don't expect another Splatoon game for at least another year or so.
Yeah.
Or even Mario Kart. Like, I think that the next Mario Kart game is a really far ways away. For me personally, I'm actually really, really excited about Fire Emblem this year.
Okay.
Because we've talked about it plenty of times. I'm a big fan of Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
And I really want that traditional Fire Emblem experience again. And Fire Emblem Echoes from last year kind of sort of filled that, but not really. Like it was a remake, and it wasn't as well done as something like Fates.
Yeah.
Like Fates is one of my favorite strategy role-playing games ever. So I'm really excited to see Fire Emblem again. Okay. But we've gotten a lot of Fire Emblem games. The one franchise I sort of alluded to before, Mario Golf. I love the Mario Golf series, and I would love to see a new one, especially on something that's not the 3DS. Because that's sort of where my big beef with it is. But otherwise, I know that the Nintendo franchises I really want, they've announced entries for. So Metroid, obviously I want a new Metroid game.
Yeah.
I want a new Pokemon game. Like I want one I can play on my TV. So that's why I'm excited about that. And Fire Emblem.
Cool.
So for me, that's sort of what I'm looking for.
Brock?
I'm excited for Mario Aces. But I'm just looking at like the indies like that we know are coming, and like there's some great one like Monster Boy's coming, Kentucky Route Zero,
nice.
The Octopath from Square,
Oh my God, I can't believe we didn't hear about Project Octopath this time.
which is supposed to come out soon.
Well, this year sometime.
Yeah, I think it's
Even
soon.
though there was a demo, they just said sometime in 2018. And that's a game that'll probably come out in Japan first, because we're getting Lost Sphere next week. Finally, which is the new game from the developers of I Am Setsuna, and it's been out in Japan since last year.
Shovel Knight, of course.
King of Cards.
Yeah.
Get hyped.
The one game. Wow, I was gonna say something and I can't remember what it was. I totally just blanked.
Is it like a Nintendo franchise?
Oh yeah, I just want I want a Mario and Luigi game.
Yeah,
that's what I really want.
Oh, like All-Star Saga and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Like Bowser's Inside
Super
Story.
Mario Bros. Wii U. Like I want like one of those. Even if you just poured over one of the ones like 3D World, I'd take it.
Yeah, because they just did the remake of Superstar Saga, like the first Mario and Luigi RPG.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's one of those games I've always wanted to play on a home console, but you couldn't because they were all 3DS games. Yeah, like I'm trying to think now of like rack my brain of 3DS franchises that I would love to see at home. And again, Fire Emblem, that's one of the things that's exciting about Fire Emblem and Pokemon.
Yeah.
Those have both been portable games for God knows how long, and they're finally going to be available on a console I can play.
Pokemon's a big one for me because I haven't played a Pokemon game in so long.
Yeah, it's fair.
So long.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to say the game that will probably never see the light of day. I would like to see a Star Fox Switch game.
Yeah.
Given how poorly received the last Star Fox game was, and the fact that they sloughed it off,
and the whole reason it was poorly received was because one of the reasons was its control scheme.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't play that game legitimately.
Well, that's because
it
went from Wii to Wii U
right.
in like a really awkward way, right?
Yeah.
So
like not in the way
it was also so ugly and so bad.
Yeah.
I think again that's a fault of like I can't believe they put that game out.
Yeah.
Really, to be fair, like it was so obviously like it needed a lot more time. They should have just like shelved it and started again on the Switch.
Yeah, because it's going to be really hard to go back to that franchise now.
Yeah.
Unlike something like F-Zero, where I think it'll be much easier eventually when they decide to do that.
What about Advanced Wars?
Yeah,
that's kind of been
Advanced Wars would be amazing, but
for a while.
Yeah, Advanced Wars unfortunately is one of those games that I don't know if they'll do another one, especially with Fire Emblem being so popular.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the other game I really want that made by Camelot that we talked about, I want a new Golden Sun.
Okay.
Because Golden Sun's amazing. Brock knows at least. Because Golden Sun is made by the people who make Shining Force, which is one of my favorite game series. So, and it has all the combat from Shining Force. It just isn't tactical. It's Japanese.
New Super Meat Boy's high up on my list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot, but there's also not big ones.
Yeah.
Like AAA ones.
I can't think of like something that's a real like slam dunk that's coming in the near future.
Yeah.
Toe Jam and Earl is coming back apparently.
Well, we can be excited about that.
We have Mega Man.
Yeah,
we've been talking about
that's
that
true.
for a while, the Toe Jam and Earl thing.
Yeah. And I think that when you talk about slam dunks for this year, I think that the slam dunk this year will be Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
For Switch, because it has such a big audience now.
That's fair.
Like, I think that's going to be their big tent.
They did a good job of building the North American audience for Fire Emblem. Going back to...
like, Fire Emblem
Origins.
Awakening could have been the last one, but it was so popular here that's why they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's going to be their big game this year. And then they'll have other things as well that we'll find out.
I'm sure come E3 they'll have a ton of games slated for summer and after.
And plus we keep hearing rumors about GTA coming and
Red Dead.
Releases. Yeah, Red Dead, like original Red Dead. So yeah, lots of exciting things for Switch.
I love Red Dead.
Hopefully.
It's weird that Detective Pikachu isn't being made for Switch.
Well, again, they're just localizing a version that's been out for 2 years. So
which will probably get its own after to go along with the movie.
Yeah, the movie
is it Ryan Reynolds the voice of Pikachu?
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, but not in the game though.
No.
We're back to deep voice Pikachu.
Yeah.
Like Danny DeVito-esque.
It's so weird.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I think we live in the darkest timeline, guys.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Where does that fit on the Zelda timeline, Joe?
It's I don't know. Calamity Ganon. I don't know.
Excellent. I'm glad you just came up with a random Zelda term.
I was playing. I started Breath of the Wild from the beginning again because it's just like I'm so rusty and I need to play this more. And every fucking time somebody says Calamity Ganon, I want to pull my fucking hair out.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the stupidest fucking
Yeah.
thing. Just call him Ganon.
Yeah, they could have dropped the Calamity part.
He's Ganon. He's a bad guy. He's now in spooky purple ghost form.
Yeah.
You get it.
They could have dropped that part.
Yeah.
Like, did you really find it necessary to call him like a different name when he was in like I guess they called him Ganondorf when he's human, but other than that, yeah,
It's something.
he's Ganon. He's fucking Ganon. He's the bad guy. We get it.
Yeah. Speaking of what you've been playing, Drew, what else have you been playing this week? Anything?
Not much. I was playing Mario until I threw.
Through your Switch?
No, I did not throw my Switch until I threw in Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
That's about it. Yeah.
So you're officially in Switch mode now. This is
Yeah.
how-
Well, again, it's super convenient because it's just sitting there and I can just grab it and whenever I have a minute. Yeah.
Drew's one of us now. He's a switcher.
I know. I love my Switch. I play my Switch all the time.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of like indie games I need to go back to on that, like the this is the police game or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
That's about it. There's nothing I'm terribly excited about right now, which is kind of a bummer.
I mean, it's that time of year, right?
It's January. Yeah.
I mean, we're getting some pretty big game releases like in 2 weeks from now, but there's a lot of.
I've
niche game
loved the
releases.
drought.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like Monster Hunter and Dragon Ball.
It just means
Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, time to
in a
catch
few
up on
weeks,
things.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah. Brock, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I finished Life is Strange.
Thank God. What do you think about episode 3?
Well, I'm bummed out on two things.
Yeah.
One, that my achievements didn't pick up.
That's really
And I got like all the graffiti in the third episode too.
Really?
Yeah, like so much of it.
Well, the nice thing about it is, at least with that, you can go back and go to collectible mode, and it's super easy to grab that.
Right. So I guess I'll do that maybe. But like, I think the biggest problem was the story was, the last episode was okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little anticlimactic. Killer ending, killer final shot.
Oh
though.
my God! Yeah,
like amazing.
I like broke inside.
But the voice acting was so horrendous in that game that I could not. It was like really hard to lose myself in, especially the dynamic between Rachel and her parents.
Yeah.
Whoever doing her parents' role was not good. It was so bad. It was like reading off a piece of paper. So that kind of.
And it also
lost it for me.
You played it. You experienced it differently than I did because I played Life is Strange a year and a half ago.
Right.
Whereas you just came off the original Life is Strange and then now you jumped right into Before the Storm. So it might have been sort of more of that disconnect between those two games.
But the game itself is actually really good. I think, and we talked about this off the show, but the backtracking didn't seem to do anything.
Right. Like the backtalk.
Backtalk,
system.
yeah. And
which
like,
is why I'm glad as the episodes went on, they did much less of it.
yeah, I think they realized that like this isn't very fun or necessary because it doesn't really do anything.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter if you even choose the option or not, you get the same outcome.
Yeah.
And yeah, your like choices had some weight to it, and there were some cool moments.
They did what they could with that because since it is a prequel, it's tough to do a ton of choices that matter. But I think that they did it in a smart way this time.
I really liked Rachel; she was a really good character.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game was fun. It was really good. It was way better than I thought it was going to be.
I'm glad you liked it.
And it was snappy. I really like how much quicker it is and you could like run more.
They only had 3 episodes and they had to sort of cram everything in there.
Max walks so slow. It was painful doing things, and it just felt so long. But this game, I was like blowing through. I was like, this is a good pace.
Yeah.
And like the no time travel stuff is nice too.
Yeah.
I was like, is it a spoiler to answer this question? Possibly, but is there any kind of supernatural element to
No,
this?
which is kind of, there's nothing like that. Not even close.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
But in a way, it was almost refreshing that there wasn't because like we had an entire season with supernatural stuff, and then this time it was more about the character interactions with each other and sort of their relationship.
It's kind of like doing an episode of Seinfeld where it's just Mulder and Scully like investigating a routine. You know, like
Of Seinfeld with Mulder and Scully?
did I say Seinfeld?
Yeah, you did.
Jesus. Woo! It was kind of like
it's an episode of Seinfeld, but Mulder and Scully are there,
Yeah.
and Jerry's like, "What's the deal with the FBI?"
No, but a lot of people like the supernatural stuff was a bit of a turnoff for some people. I know from the first season, and this one was much more about the character interactions and the relationships and the conversations.
I found actually Life is Strange, like the original, was more predictable than this one was, though.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't know where they were going to go with it.
Exactly.
There's just one like missing relationship I would have liked to see that didn't develop.
Yeah.
And that's between Rachel and Amber.
Right.
Which you don't see.
Now the real question is, Brock, did you do the D&D game?
No.
Oh
no,
my
fuck
God.
no.
Oh my God,
I
it
looked
was
it up
so
and it was
good.
like, it would take like
So
30
good.
minutes to do it. And I was like, nah, I don't want to play this for 30 minutes.
You can. So Drew, just for context, in this game,
Yes.
since it takes place at a high school, you can these nerdy kids at this picnic table ask if you want to play D&D with them.
Yeah.
And if you decide to do so, you sit there and play D&D with them for 30 minutes,
That sounds
where you
pretty
go through a
awesome.
whole scenario.
That's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it next time.
Yeah.
And then what else? I've been picking away at SteamWorld Dig 2.
Yeah.
It's a really fun game.
Nice.
Try Kingdom Hearts. Not a good game. and then I was playing Fallout 4 last night because I got
right. We were talking about that.
Yeah, I started listening to the soundtrack of Fallout all week because I love that soundtrack so much.
Adam Bomb,
and I was
baby.
like, I should play that game again. And I haven't played it since December 23rd, 2015. But getting back into it wasn't that hard. After playing about 100 hours, I still had a ton of shit to do. So now I'm just walking around shooting all ghouls.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm having a great time. It's a fun game, and it looks way prettier than I remember. But
Yeah.
Well,
back in
they
2015,
have bumped some stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a bunch of like performance updates and stuff, and
Hopefully it won't.
I also had a
be
shitty TV in 2015 too.
Yeah,
like
that's-
I've kind of upgraded, and like it's still long loading times.
Yeah.
But soundtrack,
But it only
music.
really loads once. though.
long loading times on the X.
I'm playing on PS4.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
but I think I'm gonna go back into New Vegas tonight. So
One of the things I'm gonna do is boot it up on the X. I want to see what that experience is like. Because when we started talking about it, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to play it since they did all those patches and shit
yeah,
like that.
they enhanced it for X for the third one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember them specifically giving people codes for that.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah.
As for me,
we can get a code for it.
because we talked about this a little bit, but I beat for the first time this week. I beat Master Ninja mode in Ninja Gaiden Black. God damn it! It's so hard. It's so hard, but it was so worth it by the end of it.
It took them 28 years.
It
here
took
we
me.
are.
Well, no, it's not. It's not 28 years old. It's an original Xbox game.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's the 1930s.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest.
Since the oldest guy on the podcast.
Like it's one of the hardest games I've ever played in that mode, and it was so satisfying to finally finish it.
I love that game. That was the Xbox one. I
Yeah.
remember getting on a demo from like Xbox Magazine and then picking it up
Yeah.
and just being destroyed. But the game was great and it was so pretty at the time.
Because again, most people don't know this about the Ninja Gaiden modern games. Is it's basically super fast Dark Souls essentially.
Yeah.
Which is what I like about it. Like I like games like that or Devil May Cry. Like those are more of those harder games that I really get into.
Were you playing that on the Xbox One?
Yeah.
Oh,
On
that's
the
one
X.
of the ones that was.
It's one of the back and back games. So yeah, I totally went back and played that. Had an amazing time with it. Otherwise, like as far as modern games go, this week I've just sort of been not playing modern games. I did play Pokemon Ultra Sun this week though, which is still fun. But it's a lot like the first Pokemon Sun.
This
There
was
isn't
my
too much
problem
to-
with it. Is like, I didn't want to play that game again.
Yeah.
With just like a few things bolted onto it. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like it because it's still Pokemon, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I haven't really done a ton with it. And I've been playing a lot of Friday the 13th and Overwatch this week, but we don't need to get into that. Also, ADQ was this week, and I got to saw a lot of awesome runs.
Yeah.
I'm putting together an article for the site where I talk about my favorite speed runs from the event, including the Resident Evil 7 hard mode
Cool.
speed run. Like they beat the game in an hour and 20 minutes. Or the Mega Man 1 through 3 4-team relay race, where
Yeah.
they had like teams basically speedrunning those games. Like, there are some really incredible runs this week.
I need to talk about something I watched this week
Okay.
Oh God.
because it's something I talked with a buddy of mine after he went to the premiere at TIFF.
Okay.
And it was one of the only screenings of the movie that ever happened before it was canned. It's the Louis C.K. I Love You Daddy film.
Oh,
So I found
was
it
this movie canned because he jacks off in front of people? He makes people watch him jerk off.
in the movie, in the actual movie
That's-
itself.
that's what the
yes,
movie's about?
it's very much about his life
Yeah.
and all the sexual allegations, and it is absolutely.
Are you for real? Are you fucking with
Yeah,
me?
no, I'm dead serious. It's horrendous, like absolutely horrendous. Chloe Grace Moretz is in it, and she's like naked the whole time in a bathing suit, and she like constantly just calls him daddy, and he checks at her ass, and like he's like super creepy to her, and that's his daughter, and then she starts dating Ted Danson. Charlie Day's in it, and he jerks off in front of a bunch of like women at the place they work with.
Jesus Christ. What is
It
this?
is like, and it's like 2.5 hours and black and white, and it's terribly acted. It's so bad. It's like offensively bad.
What's happening?
It's one of the worst films I've ever seen.
Then why is it a movie?
It's very good that movie did not ever come out.
So like they did like what like preview press screenings and then everyone.
So they did it once at TIFF.
Hey, maybe we shouldn't. Nobody should ever see this again.
So they did a TIFF, and my friend who does the national, like he does the CBC like movie reviews.
Yeah.
We were talking, and he was like, "It is very weird," and that was kind of the time where the rumors were starting to come out about Louis C.K.
Right.
And he's like, "It's very like real life esque." And then the rumors broke like right after the movie, and they canned the movie immediately. And they were doing like an Oscar run for Chloe like Grace on the movie, which is weird because her acting was horrible in it. But I guess just having to deal with them being around was enough to like
But Brock,
push
the movie
that.
was in black and white.
It was in
which
black and white
means
because it
clearly
was supposed to be Woody
classic.
Allen's Manhattan done Louis C.K. style.
Well, Louis loves doing black
Yeah.
and white because he did a couple episodes of his show in black and white.
Yeah,
too, right?
but it wasn't filmed for black and white. Like it looks like shit. Like it looks like it was clearly filmed together and then post processed like black and white, and
just-
it looks
just pulled the
awful.
film out of it?
It looks
Ugh.
it was like badly lit. The whole movie is really bad and really long. But you know, it's 1 a.m. in the morning, so it's had to be a good time to watch that piece of garbage.
You should have done what I did
Okay.
this week, Brock, which was watch all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies instead.
Is there any way I can watch this?
Yeah, it's online.
Okay.
It's online.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
It's,
Noted.
But yeah, because it's never coming out.
Yeah.
And for good reason. It is uncomfortable.
And it's called what is it?
I
called?
love you, Daddy.
I love you, Daddy.
because he gets told, "I love you, Daddy," repeatedly. That's mainly one of the only lines in the movie.
Excellent.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
been, that's
feel-
been Brock's
I felt
movies
really
reviews.
dirty watching
I feel
it.
really unsettled. and
So then I watched
uncomfortable.
Logan Lucky again last night because
How
that's
was
one of the
that?
funnest movies of the
Yeah.
year. It is great.
Cool.
If you guys haven't seen Logan Lucky, Adam Driver, woo boy.
Cool. I gotta say, I'm on a big kick for a series I discovered that's a few years old right now called Bravest Warriors, which is it's done by Pendleton Ward, who did Adventure Time. And if you have not watched Bravest Warriors, you need to watch Bravest Warriors because it's good.
It's a cartoon?
It's a cartoon, and it's fucking awesome.
Okay.
It's so funny. It's yeah. It you know at Adventure Time you're watching and you're like, is this for kids? It does that, and then it does stuff that's very, very adult, and you're like, this is not for kids.
I'm going to watch this.
It's one of those, yeah.
Am I old enough to watch it?
You are definitely old enough to watch
Okay.
it. Catbug,
I don't know. You're a bit of a kid.
I certainly am.
Catbug is one of the best characters on the show. There's a whole, like, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but look out for the temporal paradox.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's this meme anime that came out this week, Ryan?
Which meme anime?
There was like it's an anime based all around memes.
This sounds
You
interesting.
know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know which one you're talking about, and I don't remember what it's called. 'cause I haven't
I
watched
think
it
it's
yet.
called Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, it's not called Yu-Gi-Oh! It's called something else. I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
I haven't watched it, but yeah, it looks totally ridiculous. There's a lot of really weird anime this season. There's another anime called Citrus, which is about two girls that are sisters, but they're also in love with each other, and it's weird. Pop Team Epic is what it's called. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of interesting and weird anime this season. But you know, totally into them. So whatever.
Yeah, you are.
I'll just keep watching Dragon Ball Super because that works too.
Yeah.
All right, so topic 2, Drew. You had an interesting topic.
I
that
did. I wanted to talk about something.
Yeah.
Y'all ready to get deep?
I'm ready to get real, Drew. Let's get real.
Let's do a deep dive.
This is my deep dive motion.
So one of this came up because when we were talking about Game of the Year, and when I was thinking about what was important for me, it was like that games to me had to have, for a game to be really, really stand out, for a game to really have a lasting impression on me, it has to have really, really great gameplay that has to be really, really fun, and it has to have a really, really, really good story, and ideally those things mesh together in one way or another. And so that's kind of why I went with
Horizon.
yeah, that's why I put my threw my weight behind Horizon. And ultimately, we all did for all our own reasons. of
Yeah,
course.
like it was like Brock and I's second favorite game, and then your favorite game. So
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer. It was a swish.
yeah. So I mean, like, because I mean, arguably there are games that had like much tighter gameplay. You know, like Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey or. You know, I mean, that tends to be Nintendo's bread and butter. Is they really, really have games that have really, really good, you know, ludic elements,
Right.
which is a fancy term for like a computer interface that's meant to be playful or fun. I learned that today in researching this topic a little bit. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, which was coined way back in 2002.
Wow.
Yeah.
That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, no, it was not. I mean, game studies, as we understand it, or ludology, as it's now known,
Ooh.
as like a school of thought, is a relatively new thing,
Right.
as like an academic pursuit. So, and a lot of the things that people talk about, and I figure there are a couple of things we can talk about here, and that is like, is story really important in a video game or not? Like, does a game have to have story to be good?
Right.
And I think the short answer, I mean, to me, is no.
I think it depends on the game genre.
Yeah.
Because certain games absolutely should have a good story, and certain game genres don't necessarily need it. Like fighting games, for example. I think a fighting game is all about mechanics. And as long as you nail the mechanics, the game, you would think of it as being a fantastic fighting game.
Yeah.
Whereas a game like an open world action RPG, I think needs to at least have like, you know, at least a decent story.
Yeah.
It doesn't it doesn't need to blow my socks off, but it has to be at least, you know, good.
I'm more likely to pick up a game if it has a story. And in the case of an RPG, I wouldn't even bother playing it unless the story was really good. If it was all convoluted and shit, like, it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
What about in the other direction where like you have an RPG that has virtually none? Like what was that like 30-second hero or whatever?
Yeah, 30-second Hero was a PSP game.
Yeah, and there's a couple other ones where it's like it's literally just like the RPG mechanics with no narrative whatsoever.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I crave a story.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it depends on the game, because actually 30-second Hero was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because it was over in 30 seconds.
Or like games like Nidhogg, right? Nidhogg was a game that virtually has no story, and then like Nidhogg 2, with the new sort of like art that they're doing, they kind of imply like this weird sort of neat game world with the worms and shit, but like they don't ever really expand on it narratively, as far as I know. Anyway, I don't know. I could know better or not.
Yeah.
Or like then you've got games like Destiny. There's another game where like Destiny has a really, 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 really great gameplay, and its story kind of sucks.
Right.
Right? Like, if anything, I feel like the story drags Destiny down. Right? So,
And
like,
a lot of MMOs, I think, are the same way, too.
Yeah.
Because even though I think two of my favorite MMOs are ones that have story in them, being World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy, there's a lot of really bad, like, not great MMOs that either have really terrible stories, like The Elder Scrolls Online, or ones that don't even really have story at all, like Lord of the Rings Online.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it really just... I think the story in those types of games really sort of drag those down, because you're not really... It's tough to sort of stretch that story over that long of a period.
Yeah.
And when they do, it usually does not turn out well.
Destiny could still have a good story, though.
Yeah,
They definitely laid the foundation
Yeah.
for a story. Like, there's cool characters,
Yeah.
there's cool worlds.
Like, the lore
but
is good.
the lore
Yeah.
is good, the world is good.
And
I mean,
They just do not execute well.
yeah. Like, I mean, even like the idea of Destiny 2 in terms of that, like the story, the whole idea of like the Red Legion and stuff like that, all that had a good idea. The actual execution of those sucked, right? Like, why did perspective change? Why did we suddenly get stuff from the perspective of, you know, like stuff where we weren't there, right? Like it assumes this sort of like weird narrative structure that they've never done in Destiny before, where like you're not seeing through your character's eyes anymore. All of a sudden, you're a fly in the wall for other stuff that's happening.
Right.
But then like that stuff happens and it informs the story elsewhere in the game. You're like, but I wasn't there. How do I know that? You know, like
just
this is
do.
weird shit. And then they imply some stuff that like, you know, there's like exchanges with like the old guy and what's his name, the leader of the Red Legion. This is how forgettable the fucking game is. You know, and like where they like have an argument and he like kills him and you're like, who was that guy and why do I care about him and why did I care about that interaction, and that has like no bearing on the story whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like, oh, like, you know, there was stuff like when they shut off they shut off the traveler and you lost your powers, and then dude comes walking out and he's like, welcome to a world without light. Also, that's the catchphrase for that game. And then he kicks you off the ship and then you're like, oh, this is cool. Like it's like we're gonna get our powers to somewhere else, or like we're gonna spend some time without our powers. And
It turns out there was a shard of the Traveler.
yeah, no, like it turns out that like there's just like a 10-minute like really annoying gameplay sequence with a bird, and then you get your powers back.
Ah!
Yeah,
That's the noise a bird makes.
yeah, yeah.
Good. I was wondering what it sounded like. Makes right. I had no idea.
They could pull it out. Like,
Yeah,
they could
and I
make it
appreciate
better.
games for trying to get the story. It might not be great, but at
Yeah.
least they tried to put something in there. But I feel like Mario could have been so much better if they tried something new
Yeah.
and gave us a little bit more depth. I thought the Mario wedding element was great. Like, why didn't we work on that a little bit more?
Yeah.
Or, you know, have anything else besides that.
Yeah, have anything.
Like, you go to all these planets in Mario Odyssey, but other than looking around and making your own adventure, which is kind of what the game's about, that's it.
But give me some backstory about these weird planets. We've never been here before.
Yeah. Like, why do those ice people like to have that race?
Yeah.
Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, like there's a whole thing about like at least when you go to when you went to different places, they talked about like the different thing that they specialized in. They was like, oh, they're gonna steal the stew, or they're gonna steal the wedding gown, or whatever, right? Like, at least you got a little bit of flavor in those worlds, but like that wasn't really a narrative necessarily.
No.
It was just a little bit of background,
Right.
And you could easily just blow past that shit. So it was sad.
Like I just finished, well, obviously Life is Strange, and I think that's an incredible story.
Yeah.
And Night in the Woods, and that's one of the best stories I've like ever played in a video game.
Right.
That game was absolutely incredible.
And the story is so incredible in those games, but the gameplay doesn't matter as much.
No.
I mean, it's
No.
more just you interacting with that world essentially.
I thought Night in the Woods did very well for gameplay and like how much like what you can do and what you can't.
Yeah.
It was a really cool approach to it that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I sort of feel that way. Like Oxenfree is another game that's
Yeah.
like that, right? Like Oxenfree has not only does it have a really really great story, but it has a really great execution of that story, and like the performances are really really good. Like the characters, how they're voice acted and stuff like that is really awesome.
What Remains of Edith Finch took a really cool approach.
Yeah.
Like totally out there. I didn't see that coming kind of way.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But a lot of those walking sims are getting kind of repetitive at this point.
Yeah.
Where it's like always usually the same kind of story. A bunch of people died and like you're putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
And it's getting a little, and it's slow. It's really slow.
Right.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of games like that are smaller that are totally different from that. Like stuff like Sebel, which is about a girl who falls in love with a guy over an MMO, and you sit there and play the MMO, and you talk on Skype. It's weird. That's the whole game.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty weird.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of games like that, or even Gone Home, where like it was like the walking simulator that blew up. It had nothing to do with Death in the Family or anything like that. It had like a twist, and then that was it. So that's the whole game.
I kind of feel like for me anyway, there's no one answer in terms of like what's more important or what makes a better game, or even, is a game that has a really great gameplay and a really great story always going to feel better than a game that only has one or the other? I don't think there's one right answer to
there
that
really
question.
isn't. Yeah.
It's kind of it's kind of like very circumstantial.
Yeah.
Even though that's kind of like usually what I crave the most, there are games where I play and they're like, oh no, like I just love the gameplay in this game.
Kind of going back to what I was saying before, where I think it's more genre based, but even then there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
Because again, like something like 2D platformers, I don't really expect an amazing story or a good story. I expect it to mechanically function well, and that's more what draws me to those games.
And it's
draws me to
interesting
games.
because Bubsy has never done either.
Yeah. But you know what? Young Ryan was a big fan of Bubsy, despite the fact that it was terrible. Young Ryan also liked Cool Spot, foolishly.
Why does old Ryan still like Bubsy? That's the question.
That is the question. Yeah.
I only ham it up for the show. but I
It's
actually
the
like
Tude, isn't it? It was the Attitude Era of video games.
You know,
So it's-
this week I got to see an amazing speed run of Bubsy 2 over at AGTQ, and man, I'm like,
Well, thank
I
God they
shake
did
my
that.
head at it because I'm like, Bubsy 2 is really bad. And yet I beat that game last week. So there you go. Bubsy 2. I'm glad that it can just grind our discussion to a halt.
Has there ever been a racing game with a good story? Has there ever been a racing game that's even attempted a story?
There
I
are
guess
racing
Need
games-
for Speed.
Need-
I mean,
Speed
there's
always
lots of like Need for Speed games. There's the Need for Speed The Run, and
I'm trying to rack my brain of what the best racing story
The Crew, I guess, had a story, right?
No. The answer we know, and is it Hot Pursuit? What's the one with Razor Callahan in it?
I don't play the Need for Speed games usually, so.
Hot Pursuit was great, but I don't remember a story.
I'm trying to remember. I think it's.
I remember Most Wanted. That was painful.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, most of those stories are just like,
Yeah, they're just.
let's try and rip off Fast and Furious.
Most Wanted.
It was Most Wanted, right?
Yeah,
No,
that one. That's so. There was Most Wanted and the one after it. Both of those are the ones where they had like some like live action cutscene
Yeah.
stuff in it, and
Yeah.
they were so bad.
They're bad.
But like,
Payback, I think, was the other one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was that Burnout Payback? No.
no, you're thinking Burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was also bad.
Yeah.
But I don't really need a story in
It was-
racing games.
Burnout Paradise was the only one that attempted a story.
Burnout Paradise was fucking awesome.
Burnout Paradise doesn't really have a story other than
I know.
Not really.
other than DJ Atomica. Just
That's what I mean.
shouting shit.
It's the closest Burnout game having a story.
Yeah. But yeah, the Need for Speed games have lots of them have stories, and a lot of them are terrible. It's usually you're an undercover cop or
Yeah.
something, right?
Did that new Need for Speed game come out? Or is
Yeah.
it- Oh.
I played it. Payback. It wasn't that good.
It was bad. It was very, very bad.
Yeah. It was on EA Access for a while.
Yeah.
The newest one?
Yeah. Yeah, you can play the trial and it's
Oh,
like 10
right, the
hours.
trial.
No, the trial is like 10 hours of the story.
That's more than I ever need to play a Need for Speed game.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah,
So-
because I like racing games, but I do not play them for the story ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. So the other side
I
of
guess
this,
Horizon had a story, but it was pretty weak.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. It's like Burnout
Yeah.
Paradise. It's like,
Yeah.
build the festival.
Yeah.
All right, you're done.
Yeah.
Keep racing.
Yeah.
I don't even like EDM.
The other half of this is the thing, the term that was coined by I've already forgotten his name, ludonarrative dissonance or ludonarrative cohesion, which is the idea that the gameplay and the story actually like play off of one another.
Right.
You know, like you play as a cop and the object of the game is to arrest people or something like that. So a lot of people like point to like games where like, you know, like it de-incentivizes you from doing the right thing, even though you're supposed to play a very moral character. I think the first time they talked about it was in BioShock.
Right.
Because BioShock, like a lot of the themes in BioShock are about like selfishness, right? And they cast selfishness as like a negative thing. Because all these people that came to Rapture came there because they wanted to like be able to do whatever they wanted, and then like it just turned to chaos and stuff. But like ultimately, you do well in the video game if you're selfish, right? If you run around and kill the big daddies and you know take as much Adam as you can and stuff like that.
Kind of like Knights of the Old Republic or Mass Effect, like those types of games as well. I like that too.
Yeah, I mean, in those games, there's at least the story reflects the gameplay,
right?
Whereas in BioShock, regardless of how you act,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's still telling you selfishness is bad, but then rewards you for acting selfishly,
right?
Right. So, like, you know, and Grand Theft Auto, I think, is another example. The other way, like, the game sort of like encourages you to like be chaotic and a little crazy and crash cars and do stuff like that. But the story is just basically about that. Like, you play a bunch of assholes that are kind of dirtbag shitheads, and that's all they kind of do, right? They rob banks, steal people, shoot things. Like, they're all like morally. So there's arguably there's a lot of ludonarrative cohesion in a Grand Theft Auto game, right?
Right.
Because like what the story is telling you and what the gameplay is incentivizing you to do are thematically consistent with one another, versus like, I don't know, like BioShock. I think is the most obvious. Well, that's the one that the guy like wrote the article about years ago. Yeah. But I'm sure there are a lot of other games.
Yeah, I just can't think of one off the top of my head. That's like that tells you one thing. But then, it encourages you in a different direction.
You are in Breath of the Wild. You're the hero of time or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You're like this great hero, and a lot of the times you, especially early on in the game, it's like you're whacking people with sticks and rolling beehives down hills and like sneaking up and dropping bombs behind. Things and like and you can like just go around killing wildlife, you know, like as a matter of fact, it incentivizes you to do that because the more meat you have, the better you have. It's like the great hero of time who like completely, you know, deforested an entire region and like you know made boars go extinct. You know, like if people are supposed to talk about you in this reverent way, then why does it reward you for doing what are arguably some amoral things?
Right.
You know, like dynamite fishing.
Unlike a game like Spec Ops, where it's like you're supposed to be a hero, but in the end, the story totally turns around on you actually like murder a bunch of civilians and stuff. Like,
whoa! Are you spoiling Spec Ops: The Line?
What about that part of Call of Duty where you can shoot the hostages or not?
Oh, you mean No Russian?
No Russian, the infamous No Russian.
And they're not hostages; they're people in an airport.
They're just random civilians in an airport. You can, or you can choose not to, though.
Yeah,
I shot them.
I mean, I think of anything that's like. Because the character is supposed to be undercover, and it really puts you in a tough position, right? Like you actually have to make a moral decision. It's like, how do I do this because my character's undercover and I don't want them to find out because ultimately the stakes are high because we know that there's like a nuclear bomb in play, or there's a serious risk, or like. Do I just try to make it look like that, or do you just go, well, it's just a video game and who cares? And am I going to be punished? Oh, it doesn't seem like I am, so who gives a shit, right? Like
because it still ends the same way, regardless of what you do.
It still makes you think about it.
It does.
Though arguably, it takes you out of the gameplay a little bit because you stop being like, well, this is just a video game, though, right? Like when it gets something that's that sort of like intense, emotionally intense, I don't know. So
Skyrim and Fallout are kind of like that too. Do you steal the people's goods? Or not.
Do you set the nuke off in Megaton or not?
Of course you do.
The answer is always yes.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, you blow up Megaton like a boss. Yeah, cool. Well, that was a fun topic, Drew.
Yeah. So, you know, there's something I want to sort of think more about and talk more about. I might write an article for the site or do a video or something about it.
Because I don't really think about that when I'm playing a game. Like what always makes the game like appealing for someone like me.
Yeah.
Because when I really think about the types of games I like, they're like always totally different. Like I love video game stories. I also love like really tight gameplay. And they don't always have to go hand in hand, and sometimes they really do, and sometimes they play off of each other, and sometimes they don't. Like, it's really interesting to sort of think about this stuff from time to time. So, cool.
Cool.
Let's talk about the news this week. We had the news, then we sandwiched it with some other stuff. Now we're back to the news again. So, speaking of Nintendo, segue. Detective Pikachu is coming to North America. Detective Pikachu was released in Japan on 3DS about a year and a half ago. But it's finally being localized this year on March 23rd, 2018, because that's the date all the fucking games are coming out, including Detective Pikachu.
Why not?
It'll also see a release of a special large Detective Pikachu amiibo, as well as a new Pikachu-themed 2DS XL.
Large is right. The thing is fucking huge.
It's pretty big. Well, it's as big as, like, I would say it's almost as big as the Mega Yarn Yoshi amiibo, which is like the plushie amiibo. Like
it's fucking huge.
Yeah,
it's gigantic.
You had to like tap its foot.
Yeah.
That was the amiibo essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see it, but again, it's a 3DS game. I don't know how excited I can be about it because it not only is it a port of an old 3DS game, but like 3DS games in 2018, man. Like I don't know how excited I am for that. Plus, we keep hearing rumors about that Legend of Zelda 3DS game. I'm like, do I really? I just want a 2D Zelda game on Switch. Why can't they just do that?
It's called
instead?
Blossom Tales, and it's very good. You should pick it up.
Yeah, but I want an actual Zelda game.
It's fine. Just think of it, you're playing as Zelda, saving Link.
I still want a Zelda game on Switch. That's 2D. In fact, why can't we just do Zelda 2 again? Can we just do that? Because that would be fun.
No virtual console for you.
Damn it. All right, next up, Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age, which is the remake of Final Fantasy XII that came out last year, is coming to PC on February 1st. So again, just starting off the games season with a bunch of niche titles. Again, it comes out the same week as Shadow of the Colossus, so I'm excited to see sort of how this works. But I have it on PS4, so that's why I'm going to keep playing it. Next up, Assassin's Creed Rogue is coming to PS4 and Xbox One. That was the when Assassin's Creed 4 came out. Or no, not 4.
Unity.
When Unity came out, yeah, you're right. This was like the current gen game that they did for that.
I've never played this Assassin's Creed. I forgot it even exists.
Yeah.
Who do you play as?
You play as one of the Kenways. So it's like it was like the third game in the Kenway trilogy. So the first one was Assassin's Creed 3. Then you played Assassin's Creed 4, which was like a prequel to that. And then this one is one of the other Kenways. It takes place around the same time as Assassin's Creed 3, essentially.
No.
And it's about basically an assassin betraying the Brotherhood to become a Templar. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of an interesting framing of the story. So it comes out on March 20th. I know a lot of people, again, missed out on this because it was the current gen version that year. It'll have improved visuals, the original game's DLC, as well as a Bayek legacy outfit. So you can dress like Bayek from Assassin's Creed Origins. Next up, two exciting announcements from Hyperkin, makers of the Retron 5. They always make really solid products. So the first one is the Ultra Game Boy. It's basically a new version of the Game Boy that has a 6-hour rechargeable battery on it with USB-C charging. It will play classic Game Boy cartridges, and it might actually expand to play Game Boy Color games. It'll launch sometime in the summer with a price tag somewhere below $100. This is all stuff from CES that happened this week. We don't usually get a ton of gaming stuff from CES, but usually like hardware things if there's announcements for that. The other one, though, speaking of Hyperkin, they announced that they're the ones making the new Duke controller. So Microsoft announced like last summer, I think, that the Duke was coming back in some way, but we didn't know who was making it. So it turns out Hyperkin's actually the ones making it, and it will launch sometime this March at a price point of $70.
March 23rd.
There you go. Well, they didn't announce a date, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually did? Oh, there you go.
Brock knows.
Yeah, I was looking at the article you sent us, and it didn't have the date on it. So
As the creator was going on Twitter.
Okay,
about
perfect.
what is happening.
the day all the games are coming out, of course.
And it'll be under
But
$100. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Buying it. The best part is the middle center where the X is.
Yeah.
It's like LED and like changes, and he's gonna like make it open source so game developers can.
Which is totally awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's
So-
really cool looking.
You can, when Far Cry 5 comes out, you can play it on the Duke because they come out day and date with each other.
I'm gonna be playing all my games on the Duke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
I'm not. I don't have fond memories of that fucking thing.
You don't miss the black and white buttons, Drew?
It's not necessarily that. It's that the thing was gigantic.
Yeah.
It was the size of a small planet.
It wasn't the Dreamcast controller, but it was pretty big.
Yeah.
And for those wondering, the Duke now has shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the black and white buttons will do, but
Yeah.
And
I think they're just there for show.
Yeah.
There'll be menu and whatever buttons,
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Or some flavor.
Well, no, because it has a start and select button for the menus.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So like it'll probably be something. I think they're just there, just to be there essentially.
All right.
Or like if you're playing original Xbox games, you can it'll probably be mapped to being the black and white buttons on those games.
Which will be great. You could replay Ninja Gaiden all over again.
Sweet. It'll be the third time I've played that game in like 2 weeks. It's excellent. And last bit of news, Arc System Works has finally announced a release date for Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. That's the Blaze Blue game that brings in characters from Persona 4, Ruby, and then Under Night, which is another fighting game franchise. It'll launch on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on June 5th. That's the game that we know that's like the farthest away that has a confirmed release date is June 5th for this game, which is kind of cool. So again, I think this year is going to be an amazing game for fighting games. Amazing year for fighting games. Like we have Dragon Ball Fighters next week. We have Dissidia coming out as well, which is the Final Fantasy fighting game. Now this, like I think there's going to be a lot of competition for best fighting game this year, which is much better than last year, I think, where we came up with 2 games and none of us played Tekken. So there you go. So that's all your news.
3 if you
updates for
count
this
Marvel vs. Capcom.
week. Yeah, but that wasn't very good. that game really hurt me, Brock. It really did. It cut me deep. All right, so let's talk about what's coming out this week. Speaking of fighting games, Street Fighter V Arcade Edition is out this week, guys.
Hooray.
You remember how when Street Fighter V was announced, how they said, hey, by the way, there won't be any other editions of this game.
Yep.
There's an arcade edition of this game.
We talked in length when this was announced about how this is kind of a fuck you to the fans.
It's kind of silly. Kirby Battle Royale comes to 3DS this week. It's almost like Smash Brothers Kirby game. It's weird. Next up, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory comes out. Now, a lot of people actually really liked the Digimon Cyber Sleuth game before. It's like Pokemon on PS4 and Vita, except this time it's Digimon instead of Pokemon. But it looks kind of cool. Mutant League Football comes out this week. It's a new Mutant League Football game. I didn't think those were going to continue to exist, but they do. Next up, AO Tennis comes out. There's like 2 new tennis games this year, and this is the one that looks really bad. So take that with a grain of salt, I guess. Next up, Super Meat Boy came out on Switch this week. It was a surprise announcement, but it came out between the last podcast and this podcast. And neither of us have played it yet, but I thought the original Super Meat Boy was okay. It's not really my style, but I know you really liked it, bro.
I love Super Meat Boy. I've only ever gotten to the final world, but I'm going to try again on the Switch.
Yeah? It's happening?
Yes, it is.
Nice.
I love that game. I think it's brilliant.
And then its sequel is coming out later this year,
It
too,
is.
like Super Meat Boy Forever, so I'm interested to see how that's going to pan out. Darkest Dungeon comes to Switch this week. Darkest Dungeon was a game I really liked. It's like a roguelike RPG. And yeah, it's a really interesting game, so check that out. And last but not least, Brock brought this up before we started the show. Genital Jousting is out this week.
Out of early access, into your hearts.
Butt. Into your butt.
Into your butt. Okay,
Your
into your butt.
Testicle, but it's a strange game.
Yes.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit strange.
And then that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I'm just going to shake my head at you. It's too much, Brock. It's too much for one show. I can't help it. All right, so that's sort of our show this week. But before we go, True Plugs go.
I'm at T McMillan on Twitter, and www.game-moves.com is a thing. And go over and use your podcast thingy of choice, and subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. I don't know why you haven't. And also listen to that episode of the We the Gamercast with me and Sean Capri, which is I had a lot of fun.
It's on video at youtube.com/WeTheNerdy.
Yeah, and we're going to do that again.
Sweet. Brock, where can people find you?
You can find me at brockstargaming.com.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter, where I will be tweeting Trump daily, asking him about the U.S. relations with Wakanda and what his plans for transporting vibranium are.
Excellent.
I'm waiting for an official response from him.
I think he referred to Wakanda as a shithole country.
That was Wakanda. And you can find me eating Tide Pods half nude on Pornhub this week.
Excellent.
Tide Pods?
Tide Pods.
You're not supposed to eat those.
No, it's fine. I make a great recipe.
Apparently-
Put some lemon zest on it. Mwah.
It's a real serious problem. Apparently, there are a lot of kids.
I was going to say,
because they
just-
look like candy.
Just
know
so
what that-
everyone knows, disclaimer: Brock is not actually encouraging you to eat Tide Pods.
You know what that's called? Natural selection, Drew.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, it's between between this and all the people threatening to eat Switch carts this week because there was no Nintendo Direct announcement. It's too much.
I mean, the internet is that is the real shithole.
Cool.
Yeah.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. That's TURFORD. We have some cool stuff for the site planned at some point. You can check out this video and other videos at game-moose.com/videos as well. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/GameMoosePodcast. And as well on Twitter,
Yeah.
game_moose_cast for all that Game Moose updateness of updateness.
Hey, this
Again,
sweater's kind of blue.
It's kind of slow right
Sorry.
now, but we're going to see some cool stuff. What are you guys looking at?
I thought it was dark gray, my sweater, but it's blue.
No, it's dark gray.
It's kind of bluish.
I don't know. I think you're seeing things.
Let's
think
ask the
it's-
internet.
I'm pretty-
Is my cardigan?
If you're watching this video, please put in the YouTube comments or tweet at Brock McLaughlin what color his sweater is.
Is the dress gold or is it a golden green?
Honestly, if
black,
you
and
write me,
white?
I'll give you a code for something from ID at Xbox this week.
I'll tell you what. If you at me on Twitter, then I will send you a copy of Quantum Break.
Notice it's the first one to at Drew on Twitter, not everyone who ats Drew on Twitter gets a copy of Quantum Break. We don't have that many copies.
I mean, Flying Tiger's Shadow over China sounds great. Someone wants it. Let me know what color my sweater is.
Excellent. God, this is just like when Podcast Unlocked, which is an Xbox podcast I listen to, where they had an entire crate of Guitar Hero Van Halen games on 360. So like they gave away like so many of them, and they couldn't even get through the crate at all. Like they got like halfway through before people stopped saying they didn't wanted it.
Yeah, no one wants to relive Van Halen, man.
Yeah, clearly it's too much.
It's too much.
Wasn't a good game.
Yeah.
No.
It was bad.
I could see why that would not sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what killed Guitar Hero. Was that?
Yeah. Between that and Metallica and all those other ones. Now, but Guitar Hero Metallica was a really good game.
It sold well too.
Yeah.
Van Halen did not sell well.
No, surprisingly not. Just like that AC/DC live rock band version as well, which
Yes.
is really weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That was the only way they could get AC/DC's music in that game was to release a live recording of AC/DC playing, I guess.
For those about to Guitar Hero, I salute you.
Yeah.
All right? Now, why don't we go ahead and jump? Cue the Van Halen song, Ryan. And let's go.
Jump.
That's a Van Halen reference.
That is
It
a Van
is.
Halen reference.
Yeah.
I mean, as opposed to Panama.
I liked Hot for
Panama.
Teacher.
Hot for Teacher is probably my.
Van Halen has a lot of really terrible songs.
Fun fact, one of my best friends has Hot for Teacher written across his chest that he got in Thailand. It is terrible.
The sounds of that.
It is
Tattooed?
tattooed because he was hot for teacher when he was 18 and went on a trip.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And I guess he really liked Van Halen. Luke, what the fuck were you thinking?
Good Lord. All right, and I think it's about time to go. So
Jump.
For Drew
Jump.
McMillan and Brock McLaughlin, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 108 of the Game Moose Podcast, and let's jump.
Eat Tide Pods.